Coming? All right. I wasn't sure. I'm gonna be asking out of ignorance, but you said you're in Toronto. Is that where you live?
Yeah, that's where I was born and raised.
Okay. So, appreciate you coming on. Again, we have Blair Academy. I mean, you didn't transfer schools, did you?
I started in Canada my freshman year, and I transferred to a school in New York called Trinity Pauling, and then transferred over to Blair. So it's my third high school. But
okay,
I'm gonna be staying there for my senior year.
Well, hey, thank you for joining us. And you're one of USC's top prospects, and you and I had communicated in like late February, and you had said you had an official visit set up to USC at that time. And I'm always interested on how USC gets you guys interested when you're living on the East Coast. What was it about USC?
Well, I've always been interested in California. The weather's really nice. That's a factor that plays into my recruiting. As you can see, my top 5, they're 3-pack, 12 schools and 2 SEC schools. So nice weather in all of them. Oregon's probably the worst weather, and they get nice weather there. USC. I think it stood out the most when Coach Soto made the change over from Virginia to USC. He reached out to me, said he wanted to offer me, and he was my first offer at UVA. So knowing that he's going to be there, and I've built such a great relationship with that man. It's extremely interesting, and ever since then we've been going on Zoom and spending a lot of time with Coach Helton too, talking about what they have to offer academically and athletically, and it just gained my interest. So
I know Stanford is another school that you're extremely interested in, and there's some academic stuff going on at Stanford that is always attractive for guys, and USC is one of those highly ranked universities as well. How important is, you mentioned academics? Do you have something specific that you're already looking forward to studying in college?
I don't know what I want to study yet, but I am grateful to have that Stanford offer. It's unbelievable, the academic opportunity. It's going to be difficult to choose between a school like USC and Stanford if those two come down to the top contenders. I really want to get out and visit all 5 schools first, because I've only visited Stanford, and their campus is unbelievable.
Yes.
But, if those two were to come down, it would, it's difficult to choose, because Stanford doesn't let you early enroll, which is something I want to do. But at the same time, I'm like, I can just relax and enjoy my senior year. So, it's difficult to think about what I really want to do still. And I have a good amount of time before I can decide.
Sure, absolutely. So you mentioned Coach Vic and the interest in USC, and then Clay Helton. Just what kind of an impact has your conversation with Clay had on you and your interest in the Trojans?
He's extremely open to me. He's a really humble man. He says a lot of great things too about USC. That intrigues my interest. Yeah, I'd probably say the thing that, stands out about him the most is that he's open. He's really sincere. That's one thing I really do like about him.
All right, I'll ask one more question. We've got some others here in the room that are going to fire some questions at you as well. But with USC, we're always asked what position, what kind of a role are they looking for you to play in their defense?
Well, I think Coach Soto said he's going to try to keep it the same on the line as he did at Virginia, move you all over the line. Mainly 5-tech, I'd say. Rush the edge, try to get me in a one-on-one situation, which is ideal. But, I told him I'll play anywhere on the line, anywhere you want to put me. I'll just light it up wherever I go. But, yeah, I think he'd mainly put me at 5-tech, but shift me around 3-tech, probably closer to the inside for some plays. Just try to get the edge off a one-on-one situation.
Mark Colkin.
Hey, Aaron, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, I love that head of lettuce you got going on up there, man.
Everyone compliments it.
I'm telling you.
Because you have hair.
Right?
I'm grateful. And it's curly too, so I do like it.
Trust me, I live that. I feel you, but I need to get rid of some of mine. So when you're young, it looks good on you. When you get this age, it's a pain in the ass. So, I was watching some of your early video interviews, and you were talking about some of the schools you were interested in, and you were mentioning Michigan and Penn State and Notre Dame, and at the very end, you had brought up Virginia, and it was a very quick. Virginia was at the end of the schools you wanted to visit, and obviously that had something to do with your relationship with Coach Soto. Can you talk about his personality and what's so dynamic about it?
Good question. Overall, he's a great man. The first ever phone call I had with him, he told me he's watched my film. He's watched almost all my film, everything you could find about it. So, he goes into depth with his recruiting. That really gained my interest. And he's honest to me. He's already introduced me to the family. It feels like I'm a part of the family already. I think that also plays a large role into it. He always gets me on FaceTime. I'll talk to his kids sometimes. I'll say hi to his wife. He's in Utah right now with his wife, with his in-laws, his wife's family. So he got me on the phone with them. He called me a few times the other day, and we just got to chat about, what's going on. So, he's really interested in me. He really wants to coach me. That's the largest thing. He always tells me he wants to coach me. It'd be, a great pleasure. And that first offer, it meant the world to me, because I was like, coming to the States, I was like, I don't know if I'm really going to get an offer. I got to work hard for it. But, it came, and he was the first one. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's quickly becoming one of my favorite coaches since he's joined the staff. And, when I watch your film, I see a really aggressive player, and that's something that USC could use. But one of the things that Coach Soto also talks about is violence and using his hands. And that's the first thing that pops out with you is when you see the quarterback or you see the ball carrier, you're laser focused and you're getting to him no matter where it goes. So I can see where, the attraction is, what Coach sees in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's a really technical man.
Yeah.
He focuses a lot on, getting into that. Like at Virginia, he turned that defensive line. Like, I'm not going to hate on them or anything, but they weren't the most highest rated prospects, those 4 guys he had, right? And he turned them into looking like top tier 4 or 5-star guys who came out of high school. So I'm not going to say I'm better than those guys coming out of high school, but I'm going to work hard. And he says I have the skill talent to, make it to the NFL just as long as I work. So I want to see what he can do with me if I potentially go there, and, with a 4-star recruit, we'll just see what happens from there.
Blake, Brandon.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing, man? My name's Blake. Nice to meet you.
Good, sir. How are you?
Hanging in there considering the circumstances. So you mentioned you'd been to Stanford, and you're from Canada and then the East Coast. So I'm just wondering, have you ever been to SoCal?
No. That was my first time going out west, and I was in Palo Alto and Oakland because I visited Berkeley too.
Got it. What do you think of the way that guys like Dante and Vic and the rest of the staff, the way that they're marketing the program? Like, what does it look like to somebody like you who's across the country, who obviously right now can't be there physically?
Like I said, we've been on Zoom a lot. So, they've been giving me virtual tours, showing me around the campus, however they can, close to their houses. They'll show me the view. I'm like, yeah, that's really nice. They got palm trees and everything there. I got rain and snow and some nice weather some days, it's unbelievable. But, they're trying to give me as much information because they know I can't visit right now. And they're waiting for it to open up. And Coach Helton said once it opens up, he's going to buy me that first plane ticket for my official visit to make it out. And that's what I'm hoping. I really want to get out there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It was going to be June 19th through the 21st. And
if it opens up, I would like to take that. But it was canceled because of the virus.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah. What's the thing you're looking forward to most about visiting SoCal for the first time?
My feel. I'd say how it feels in my heart. That's the main thing. Because when I visited Stanford, I was like, this is extremely nice. I feel really comfortable here. So I'm hoping the same thing when I visit there.
Brandon, Ryder, you want to ask a question? No, he does not. But he thinks you're a really good player.
Thank you. I do.
All right. Well, I actually have. Go ahead, Mark. Go.
I was gonna say, so how does a young man from Toronto decide I want to head to the States? And you ended up in New York first, and now you're at Blair Academy. So first of all, what part of Toronto are you from? And then start us on your journey.
I was born and raised in, I can't even remember. It's somewhere close to downtown. So like in the city. I was born in the city. I moved outside of the city when I was about 2 to 3. It's like I still live close to the city. I'm like 25-minute drive, 30-minute drive from downtown. So it's not too far. I live in the suburbs. And when I was about 13, I'll start when I started playing football. I started playing football when I was 6. So I gained a big interest in it. I loved it. It was a sport that I've always wanted to play since my dad asked me, even though I didn't know what it was when he first asked me. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try it out. But he had me play a lot of sports. Like at one time I was playing 5 sports, and I was like, I got to stick with football. This is the one that I love. So my club team coach here in Canada he has a connection to Trinity Pawling, which is in the States. So he made that trip. We all made that trip out there to visit. And, I was like, I think this is the right choice for me to, gain more exposure, because I've always wanted to play football. And, ever since starting to play it, I fell in love with it. So I want to keep this going, and football's big in the States, and that's everyone says it back home in Canada. Like, well, you got to get to the States if you want to make it big. And I'm like, I want a free education. I don't want my parents to pay for college, and I want to make my dream come true and go to the NFL. So, making out to Trinity Pawling, it was fun. I'd probably say it was one of my best years of high school. It was really laid back, and the football was good. It was competitive, but the connections weren't there. So I made a phone call out to Coach Saylor at Blair Academy, because some kids transferred over from Trinity Pawling a couple years before, and I made the visit, and I said, I think this is the right choice for me, especially knowing that Jason Oweh at Penn State and David Ojabo at Michigan, they were there. Jason Oweh had just started playing, I think, that year, and he probably had like 30 some odd offers around that time. Like, these guys are both defensive linemen, and they've only been playing for 2 years. I've been playing for 10. Why can't I do it? So I made the transfer over, and yeah, that's how it happened.
Cool. All right.
With everything being shut down right now, it seems like guys are committing to schools, and in order to do that, you certainly have to have some level of comfort with the coaching staff and the relationship that you guys have built with them. And what comes with that also is, I know you guys are getting these virtual tours, and some of the guys we talked to recently are kind of blown away with the USC presentation. Can you just kind of describe what USC is showing you on those virtual presentations?
The one I can think about is probably the campus virtual tour, or the Life After Football, which Coach Helton presented to me. I'll start with that one. So Life After Football, he gave a lot of examples of people who attended the school, alumni, great examples, what they have to offer there. And then after, the alumni support base, it's big, especially being in LA. The campus virtual tour, it was really good. They had the whole campus laid out, and they showed me around campus. It's they put a lot of effort into it. I can tell, especially with the edits and everything, everything they send to me, to make sure I'm gaining knowledge every day and, knowing more about USC. Yeah.
And another thing that guys have been impressed with, and actually some parents have even told me this, is that how detailed that Todd Orlando or Vic or whoever you might be talking to is detailing, the role that you would play in their defense. How do they go about doing that in such great detail?
Could you repeat the question, please?
Another thing that some of the guys have been impressed with was how detailed USC has been in kind of describing the role that you would have, the guys would have in the defense, Todd Orlando's defense. Can you just describe on what they show you guys in detail on where they see you in the defense?
I'd say, like I said before, like a 5-tech. You know, Drake Jackson, he's there. He's a great example. You know, he came in and true freshman. He had 5.5 sacks, I believe, something like that. But yeah, he dominated. So they're like, you know what, you sort of shape out to be like him a little bit size wise. But I'd probably say mainly 5-tech, and they like go into detail and they'll show me, like, you know, Coach Soto will show me videos of, you know, where I might play, you know, get a picture of the line and show me and like show me stunts he'd tell me to do or something like that. But yeah.
How significant is that they're able to show you that? You know, sometimes you guys don't really even know your role, even when you go on campus and whatever. But I mean, how important is it that they're able to show you that?
I'd say it's pretty important. You know, I want to know where I'm going to be playing, what I'm going to be doing before I get there.
Yep.
And for them to show me that, it's, you know, I'm grateful for them to, you know, have an idea of where I might possibly play by the time I get there, especially because it's only a year away. Not even. Yeah. I got a question from Mr. Ryder. It said, who are some of the D-line guys in the league you like to watch? Ooh, I'd like to answer that.
Go for it.
First one, I've been watching a lot of Aaron Donald's tape. I like to break that down. He is interior, I know that, 3-tech, but his get-off is insane, and his handwork, it's unbelievable. I know you guys might not like this, but I've been talking to Coach Johnson at LSU. He recently was at playing or coaching for the Saints, or sorry, coach for the Saints and then the Rams. But he coached Aaron Donald. So, you know, we've got to talk a good amount about, you know, Aaron Donald and how amazing of a player he is, just how, I don't know, how technical that man is. Watching film, you know, and I love to watch his film, so he's an unbelievable player. Next guy I love to watch is J.J. Watt. Hands down, probably the best defensive end in my head. Next to, actually, no, I'd probably put him at number 1. Yeah, I love his film. He's like, ever since I think 2013, 2014, once he started to really break out, I just watch him all the time. And I still do. I go back to those tapes. I remember they'd always used to mic him up in like 2015, 2016. I'd always watch those.
Well, there are some guys that all of us that would pay to watch play football. I mean, most do with J.J. Watt, but I mean, even in high school, there are some guys like that are just exceptional. I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the 2 guys who led the league in sacks like 4 out of the last 5 years, right? Or 5 out of the last 6 years. So you can't go wrong studying those 2.
Yeah,
a lot of Everson Griffin too, Von Miller, Khalil Mack. You know, all those guys that just cause havoc on the line. They're great to watch. And
what it comes down to for all these guys you're mentioning is their work ethic. You know, before they get to the game. So if you were to choose one word to describe yourself, you know, I already have a word. You know, how would you describe yourself in one word?
No.
It's a little early for these tough questions. You know, I'm sorry.
Mark, you got him dumbfounded, man.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I'm going to throw mine out there. You can think of one, but, you know, the first thing I see is tenacity. Like I said, your motor. You don't stop. And you kind of don't stop even when the guy's on the ground. You like, hey, my name's Aaron. Remember me next time. So
I try to make that happen. Yeah. For them to think.
That's a good thing. That's the type of attitude you need on defense. So if you're picking that up from the J.J. Watts and the Aaron Donalds of the world, those are some good traits to pick up.
Aaron, what would you say your biggest strength and your biggest weakness is right now on the field?
Biggest strength, I'd probably say my reach. Long arms, so I can get off the ball quick and engage, keep the offensive lineman away from me. Biggest weakness, I'd like to say there's nothing, but you always got to improve on something. So I'd probably say my get off. It is quick. I do, like lots of people say, I move like, I'm 220 pounds, but I'm 260. But that's something I really want to improve on. Like I want to come off reacting to the ball moving instead of it already being snapped and then I react.
I'm going to ask you about some of the other schools because I've got guys that would be really mad at me if I didn't ask you about a couple of them. And Oregon, what is it about the Ducks that got them in the top 5?
All honesty, I always wanted to visit because I've seen their photo shoots and I'm like, this is unbelievable. The amount of things they get and any gear they have, and their like Nike headquarters is right there. Phil Knight attended there, but ever since talking to them and really getting to know them, they're honest, sincere guys. Like Coach Sal, the defensive line coach, Crystal Ball. Shout out to Sam Popper, the one of the recruiters. He's my guy. I like him. But yeah, they're all great guys, and they've shown me so much about the university, and they've taken their time to sit down and really talk about life after football, and what the university has to offer, football and on the academic side.
And LSU is another one that that's a school that seems like just about all defensive linemen have interest in some level. Just talk about Coach O and what's going on at LSU.
I talked to them a good amount. They were Coach KU, Kenichi Udeze.
Yeah.
He's at Vanderbilt right now. He called me last May and told me that they wanted to offer me. He's a great guy. I really do like him.
We agree.
Yeah, he's a really great guy. Well, he went to USC.
Well, I mean, yes, but he is a great dude.
Yeah.
That aside.
But I've been in contact with Coach Johnson a lot. He texts me almost every day just to see how I'm doing. He's a great defensive line coach. And, the thing that sticks out in my head the most is Coach O is also, an original defensive line coach. He knows the spot. He knows how to coach it. I think that would help out a lot too. Like I've watched videos on him in practice. He loves to work with the outside linebackers and interior linemen.
Hey, Aaron, what's your GPA right now? No mean to put you on the spot.
I talked to my advisor the other day, and he said I popped off in the spring. He said I did really well. So I'm hoping somewhere around a 4.0.
Yeah, you seem like the type of kid who does your homework.
Oh, yeah, I've been getting it done. Make sure I keep the grades up.
Stanford's in his top 5. The end.
Yeah.
Whenever one of my teachers or advisors says, "Mark, you're popping off," it wasn't because my grades were doing good.
I think that's what he said verbatim too.
The terms have changed, Mark.
You're popping off. Get to my office.
Somewhere around a high 3, so some like 3 point.
No, I could just tell from the perspective as how much you're a student of the game. I could tell you're the type of guy who you just love to learn. And I'm glad USC is providing you with information. I know that's one of their main things. So, I mean, culturally, I think you fit in perfect on that campus. Outside of football, I could just see you on that campus thriving, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I was going to say, when is the last time you talked to USC?
Yesterday.
And when you do talk to them, can you just talk about who is it Zoom? Is it phone call, FaceTime? Who'd you talk to and what'd you guys talk about?
Well, ever since that new rule with the NCAA opening up, coaches can call you, right? Like any time of the day. So I've been getting a few calls, but Coach Soto calls me a lot. Coach Helton, he'll text me once in a while, but it's mainly Coach Soto or like some of the assistant like director of recruiting people and all that. They'll make sure to reach out, see how I'm doing. But people who call me, it's mainly Coach Soto just to see how I'm doing.
Do you enjoy the recruiting process, or are there times where you're just like, what, I need to turn my phone off and I just want to go beat Aaron for a day and forget I play football?
I'm going to be honest about that. When it first started, I was like, this is really cool. I'm going to respond to everyone I can. And I still try to do that. But, ever since this dead period, or not this dead period, but this like time of quarantine, my phone's been nuclear. So it's been, pretty hectic. It's been buzzing probably every 5 minutes, but I try to respond to as many people as possible. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want some time to myself to relax and not text everyone. But at the start of it, I was like, this is really cool. I'm going to text everyone, all the reporters,
Yeah.
all the coaches. And I'm like, oh, I got it.
Until it's no longer fun.
Yeah.
Aaron, that's something that we ask pretty much everybody that comes on. I think it's just like a universal question right now for everybody, but like, how are you adapting to this new normal? And I don't really, I know that on the East Coast and there it's pretty kind of a different world than it is in California, and I'm not sure what it's like in Canada right now. But what's that been like for you? You mentioned your phone is buzzing off with recruiters because they got nothing else to do. So.
Mm-hmm. So in Canada, it's not too bad. I think in Ontario, we have more recovered cases than we do infected cases. So, we've gone out of state of emergency, and people are allowed outside. You're allowed to walk around, just keep social distancing. And my family's extremely introverted, so we're not outside a lot. Unless we're going outside for a run or going outside to do full work or something, which I'll go with my sister or my dad if they want to run with me. But we're introverted, so we'll stay inside if we're not outside working out or in the backyard just relaxing. So it doesn't really feel that different. Like I'm inside doing homework, playing video games, working out, whatever it is. But yes, it's not too bad. Like I'm not really used to leaving my street unless I'm going to see like one really close friend. And at the minute, he doesn't really. His parents won't let me see him, and my parents won't let me see his or him because of the virus. So yeah, it doesn't feel that different.
Are you playing a Madden, or what's your favorite video game to play?
Warzone, Call of Duty. Oh, I've been playing that game too much. Actually, I need to cut it back. Staying up too late with friends, but it is really fun because I don't get to see them as much. My friends back at school. Yeah.
Which coaches are playing video games with you?
Oh, I know Coach Popper, Sam Popper at Oregon. Coach Soto has tried to play one with me. We played a few games together.
How well did he try, out of curiosity?
He's getting a hold of it. I'm not going to say he's horrible at the game, but he did a pretty good job. I think he got like one kill or something. He was making good call-outs. I'll give him that. He was like, oh, they're on top of the building. I'm like, which building, Coach Soto? Yeah, that's it. Those are the only two guys that I've played with, I think. Yeah.
What has been there's oftentimes some really, really creative stuff going on with recruiting also. And that stuff you guys don't really get tired of. What can you talk about some things that coaches have done to you and you kind of like, damn, that was pretty damn good?
Main thing that sticks out in my mind would be the edits. I'd say the edits. I got one a couple days ago from Stanford. It was a Lil Uzi edit of his album, him versus the world, Lil Uzi versus the world. And it was my head, well, not like it was like a cartoon character of me with a Stanford helmet on, and I was looking up and everything, and I was in outer space, and it said Aaron versus the world, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I got to post that on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm going to look for it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool edits that a lot of universities have made. That's probably the main thing that sticks out in my mind.
Speaking of edits, USC hired Oregon's graphics guy after the season, and they brought in these really talented guys from LSU to handle the video stuff. Has that been a topic that you've discussed with USC? Is that a big deal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got a really cool video the other day from them. It started off with the fight on, and it showed like a highlight tape and it showed LA and everything, and like what you're gonna get when you come here. It was really cool. They put music in the back. It was really well edited. Yeah, that was a cool video I got. It sticks out in my mind.
You're from a big city, Toronto. I love Toronto, one of my favorite cities anywhere. I love it there. In LA, big city, is that, have you ever thought of the location and the city part? Is that significant at all?
Yeah, it does play a large role into, like, I've never visited a campus in like the large city before, so I really want to see how I feel when I go there, because I feel really comfortable at a campus that's isolated like Stanford. I really like that, sort of bubble feel. But if I get out there and I'm like, oh, this is even better. Like I'm a mile from LA. Like this is like one of the largest cities in the world. This is really cool. So if I can get out there and visit, I really do like it. Then yeah, that would be really cool, and I'd be a lot more interested.
It's interesting. I've never heard anybody describe Stanford as isolated before, but I can understand that because the way it's so spread out.
Yeah.
Because you're so close to the city, Oakland or San Francisco. But yeah, with Los Angeles, it's very different than say Happy Valley, where Penn State is located, or up in Eugene, where Oregon is located.
Mm-hmm.
Those are definitely college, type of environments. So if are you comfortable in a rural type of setting, or do you feel more comfortable in a city environment? Because you have to live there, and there are seasons.
True. I like both. There's benefits to each one. If you want to go to a Lakers game, it's right there, and I'm not going to complain about seeing a Lakers game. If you want to, just relax and focus on your studies, stay on campus. You can just. I don't know. I've really never lived in Toronto. Like I lived when I was a little baby, but I never actually lived in the city to experience what it's like, to live in an apartment. And
makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
On that Lakers note, real quick, Blake, and then you can. Kawhi Leonard was there at Toronto and helped you guys win a championship. And I know you didn't live there, but I see the fists up. So now you have to choose because he's a Clipper. Are you going to be a Clipper fan or a Laker fan? Did he leave you brokenhearted?
I'm always going to stay a Raptors fan. The only game I'd be going to in LA would be if they face the Raptors. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm always a Toronto fan for every team. Leafs.
Good for you.
Everything. Yeah.
Because it can get contentious down here, so you might have to make a decision.
Oh, I know. I can't go to a Lakers game with a Raptors jersey on if they're facing, I don't know, some other team, but I understand.
So how big? Oh, Blake.
I forgot the question I was going to ask, but I want to ask a more important one now based off what you just said. Were you into Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady in those early 2000s Raptors teams? I mean, I know I was a baby, you were a baby, but all I know is like when I play 2K, man, I'm running it back with the 1999, 2000 Raptors with T-Mac and Vince Carter every time.
I haven't played 2K in a while. Last one I probably played was 2K15. And I always played that, but it's been a while. Vince Carter, I've paid a lot more attention to, especially because he's the dunk king. Like, I don't think anyone can dunk better than he can. But Tracy McGrady, I have not paid too much attention to. I don't think he really led Toronto or is everyone thinks about him. I'd probably say, the top people who think about Toronto Raptors would be DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry, because he's been with them for so long. Vince Carter, maybe Chris Bosh. I don't know. That's close. Those are my top three, though. Kawhi is
DeMar DeRozan was a Trojan too.
He was?
Yeah.
USC.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Connections.
Trojan tentacles are long. You'll learn that.
If you blinked your eye, you would have missed him.
Yeah, it was very quick.
He still reps the Trojans, though.
Yeah.
He's a Trojan for life. He goes.
He is. I mean, no, he really. He comes back. I mean, he's very engaged.
They retired his jersey this past season at Galen Center for the basketball team.
It's really cool.
Aaron, how big of a hockey fan are you?
Pretty big. I'd say I haven't been paying too much attention, but when I was younger, I used to watch a lot. My dad took me out to Ottawa a few times to see a couple of games against the Senators. But yeah,
I was going to ask you if you haven't been following it that closely. I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened to my guy Don Cherry. They
I
booted
heard
him out.
about that. I think he got fired or something. I think he said something bad. I don't know what it was.
It wouldn't be the first time. The last time.
He is Don Cherry, buddy.
Hey, I got a question for you, Aaron. Are you big on the music scene up there in Toronto?
With Drake and Nav and the Weeknd and all them, yeah, I've been paying some attention to it.
Yeah, they've been coming up, man. What's it like locally? How's the feel for like the kids up there locally? How do y'all feel about that?
I think we feel good, but I don't think too many people know that, you know, some of these rappers that are, you know, getting exposure and coming up know that these people are from Toronto. I think they just say, oh, they're born in the States. This is cool. Like, this guy's from Toronto, and he's getting big. Everyone knows Drake's from the 6th, though, so that's pretty cool. He came out with an album lately. I don't like it too much, but I'll respect him and, you know, say I think he's the best artist of all time right now. He's the amount of tracks he's sold. It's stats.
I like to say Drake has the Midas touch. Everything he touched goes gold or platinum.
Yeah.
Facts. It just is. So,
Aaron, have you ever had a kava?
A what?
It's a restaurant out here. I don't know if they probably don't have them on the East Coast, but it's a Mediterranean place, and they have it at USC. And just word of advice: when you come out here, you got to go to Kava, man.
I'll try. I'll make sure to try for sure.
Bomb.
That's good.
You mentioned that you were looking to be an early entry. Any particular reason why? Just speed up the process, especially with what's going on today?
First thing I'm going to say, I've been in high school for too long.
We've all been there before. Trust me.
Yeah.
I did repeat. So, and I still am a young repeat, but, you know, 5 years, it's a good amount of time. And I'd like to get out, you know, development. I think that's the main thing that sticks out in my mind. You know, I can get there 5-6 months earlier than other kids who won't early enroll. So, you know, being able to develop me and get used to that college setting will help out a lot.
That might be one of my favorite answers I've heard since we've been doing this, by the way. So thank you. That was hysterical.
Well, let's say that you aren't able to visit some schools, and I mean, eventually, you know, their visits will happen. But let's say we're already in October and you can't visit. Have you been able to form relationships with any of the and get comfortable enough with any of these schools to where you would be able to actually commit without visiting? Because some guys are doing that right now.
Most definitely. I do think that there's going to be a lot of decommitments in the fall once this finally opens back up.
I agree.
I do think there's going to be a lot. Not like, you know, some kids know where they want to go. Like I heard Julian Simon, he committed the other day or last week or something like that. He said he's always wanted to be a Trojan. So like kids like that, I know they're going to stay at those schools. But, you know, some of these kids are making blind decisions and they're going to decommit. I have a feeling about that. But, you know, if I can't visit, I have made a lot of, you know, great connections and relationships, especially because some of these coaches have come up to see me. So, you know, getting to sit down and talk with them for 20, 30 minutes, it does help a lot to get to know them.
And I'm just going to throw a hypothetical out there, and maybe I'll do it with every school. But if USC was to be the school, are there some reasons you could share with us on what they are? If you were to commit to USC?
Football is a tradition there. You know, it's crazy still. And they have the top 5. I have so many great things to say. Top 5 recruiting class right now in my class. USC has top 5 hardest schedules this season. I did see that. You know, 18th, I think, academically in the nation. You really can't go wrong with something like that, especially depending on what you want to study. USC has #1 film school. Like I always make jokes about me becoming an actor or something like that, but like it could happen if I really, you know, really want to do it. So, yeah, and also the coaching staff, I'm really close with them. You know, I've built a great relationship with those guys. And yeah, football, academics, it's all there. I really do think it's all there. I just really want to get there and see how I feel on campus. I think that's the main part.
What about early playing time? Is that going to play a role in your decision making?
Yeah, and it's like all the coaches tell me, it's perfect timing. It's really perfect timing because, you know, most of the big guys are going to be gone by the time I get there. So, you know, I'll have a chance to earn a starting spot if I really get in there and work my butt off.
Anybody else? Blake, Mark? All right. Well, I will ask one then. I was going to ask, a lot of guys are also engaged in these group chats. You got group chats at any of the schools that you're chopping it up with the guys that are recruiting at LSU, USC, Stanford, or any of the other schools?
Like group
Oregon?
chats on Zoom or just group chats like texting?
Like just in general, texting. I mean, do they have Zoom also? And can you record them for us?
Like Oregon, we do get on Zoom like once a week with all the coaching staff. They say hi, and then most of them will leave, and they'll like talk to us about academics or just ask us how we're doing. Have a good 30-minute conversation of how everything's going and just more insight on what they have. I'd say one funny thing is like group chat with me, Coach Salvea, and Coach Cristobal at Oregon. They text a lot to the group chat and I'll respond, but I feel like they're just texting each other more often. They send something and then the other one will respond and they'll hype each other up. That's kind of funny. I do like that. But yeah.
Are you engaging with any of the other kids that the schools are recruiting? Any other recruits from these schools also?
I'd say a lot of Stanford kids reach out to me. I've had a few USC kids. One of the commits, I forget his name, a wide receiver. He committed a couple weeks ago. And
Quay Davis.
Yeah, I think he reached out to me, and another one reached out to me, a cornerback or something like that. But, they just wanted to tell me that they really want me to get out there. Stanford, Ari Patu, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Connor McLaughlin, or something. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. Offensive lineman. Tobin Phillips, I think that's his name. He committed to Stanford. Those guys have all been reaching out to me, see how I'm doing. Not too many other kids. I know Landon Tangwall reached out to me before I posted my top 5, and he said he was going to recruit me really hard. But after I posted that, I have not heard back from him. So,
did he unfollow you too?
I hope not. I did check a couple of days ago on my Twitter who has unfollowed me, and it is insane the amount of coaches and people who, unfollow.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, does it?
I know. Just a follow. I don't take it that serious.
You said one of your things is possibly acting. What type of films are you interested in? I mean, are you a thriller, the scary movie, the horrors, comedies, Marvel guy, DC guy?
If I was to get into acting, I'd probably like to do something in action.
Okay.
That'd be really cool, an action movie. Something that like Tom Cruise would do, or something like Mission Impossible where he climbed the Burj Khalifa. That was really cool to hear about that was real. Movies I like to watch, horror movies. That's my favorite genre. I've been on YouTube a lot watching The Kill Count. I don't know if you guys seen that.
I haven't.
It's a really famous YouTube channel. And he just like posts a lot of horror movies and the amount of kills that were in the movie. It might sound weird, but it's interesting to watch. I do like it.
Hey, Tom Cruise, he like actually skydived in the last Mission Impossible movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like he actually, like that dude is he's crazy.
I think he's been skydiving like 100 times already. He's insane.
Yeah.
Do you have that type of personality, Aaron? Are you pretty much a, I'm going to do it and we'll see what happens afterwards type of guy? Or are you more of a reserve, I'm going to check it out and make sure this is the right thing to do?
I'd say I'm kind of in the middle. Like, it depends what it is. Like, if it's not extremely insane, like climbing the tallest building in the world, I might have to think about that for a minute. But, if it's something not as bad as that, I could probably just go do it and be like, you know what, we'll see what happens, the aftermath. Yeah.
The Stanford campus, you talked about it feeling like it's isolated. And it is really one of the most spectacular campuses in the United States. Can you just describe what you saw that it really impressed you?
The first thing that caught my eyes were the palm trees. I'd never seen a palm tree before in my life. So being able to see that, I was like, wow, this is really cool. In a nice area. And the campus itself, it's unbelievable. Outdoor pools everywhere. Just the setting of it, I really do enjoy that. The buildings, the tiling of the roofs, that was really cool to see. And everything is like flat there. Nothing has like an angle to it like we do here. Because no snow, right? It all just no rain, no snow. That was really cool to see. All the buildings are beautiful. They're all shaped how they look, and then they look kind of like a Hispanic, feeling to it, or like that's how it looks. And then you go inside and it's just, immaculate. It's just beautiful. All the technology and stuff they have inside the building. It's insane.
What have you seen on your USC virtual tour that impressed you?
Nothing inside of the building, but we've seen, he took us around the whole campus, showed us most of the buildings. I really did like the, what is it called? The Hall of, I don't know if it's the All-American thing where all the people walk down the
Hall of Fame
ramp.
walk?
Yeah, that was really cool to see. He told us all about, all the players who went to USC and were able to walk down those stairs. And I was like, all those guys went there. That's really cool.
Yeah, if you like palm trees, you got to get to SoCal. You'll be blown away if you were blown away.
They're very, very. They're very
like,
in the photo shoots. Those palm. It's like almost like Dodger Stadium now. They do these USC photo shoots, and you got they get you in. They exactly what you have is that like 5 or 6 palm trees in the backdrop. It actually makes a pretty cool photo shoot. To be honest with you, you're not on a throne and you don't have a robe on, but it's a pretty cool photo shoot.
That would be cool to do.
We can get a throne and a robe though. That's not a problem. We can make it.
I would appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I see a lot of recruits taking photos with a sword. I know that's a thing.
Mm-hmm. At a lot of schools, yeah, sword, an axe. So yeah, there's a lot of. Weird.
I wanted to ask you about that. How have you been able to do one of those photo shoots where you suit up in the team uniform and all that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done it a lot of times.
Are those cool, or do after like 3 or 5 schools, is like, okay, I've done this already, I'm over it?
Oh no, I like to do them wherever I go. Like I've been to Penn State 5 times, and I think I've done it like 3 times, and I still enjoy doing it, no matter where I go. I get to dress up and do whatever I want for 10 to 15 minutes, and I get to post them. I think that's the coolest part. Post them and get a lot of likes on the pictures. But each different school I get to go to, it's a lot more cooler to see because it's a different colorway and different outfits and all that. So yeah, I do enjoy.
And they break out all the drip. They get the gloves,
Mm-hmm.
the arm bands, the leg bands.
Yeah, it is really cool.
My last question. We won't keep you forever, but we appreciate your time that you spent with us because it's been almost an hour now. But is USC recruiting mom and dad, and what do they think of USC?
Yes, most definitely. They stay in contact. Coach Helton, Coach Soto, they stay in contact with my parents. We when we go on Zoom with them, they're always on the call, talking with my parents. My parents are always asking questions about the campus and that university. I never really ask any questions. They answer all my questions during the time, but my parents will come up with more questions for them to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of communication between them, and my parents love the university. And I think that's where my dad wants me to go now. Ever since I dropped that top 5, yeah, he loves it. He really wants me to be there, I think.
That's good to hear.
Well, hey, you guys want to finish up with anything? You have any questions for us? You want to interview us? We're really not that interesting, but.
Yeah, I just want to say, Aaron, thanks, man. Your candor is very much appreciated. You just say it. You're not looking to mince any words, and I appreciate that. And I think we need more of that. The fact that you said, you're just tired of high school and you just want to get on with your life and develop and move forward. That's a great message. So, thanks again for coming on, and love to have you come on again when you're ready to. After you've made your commitment, or if you're ready to make a commitment, let us know.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I do appreciate you having me. It was an honor.
Again, thanks, man. I really do. It was great talking to you, and thank you again for doing this. And I look forward to come to see you at school when you guys are practicing again or playing football.
For sure. That'd be great. Thank you.
All right.
Nice to meet you, Aaron. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thanks for the time. Nice meeting you, man.
Same here.
Keep that hair.
All right. Yeah, stay safe, guys. Thank you.
Take care.